Imagine being in a place where there is no up or down, where light hasn't existed for billions of years, where the very concept of time begins to warp, and where even matter itself is torn apart atom by atom until nothing remains. This place is not a ghost story. It's real. Somewhere out there, in the dark, it waits for anything or anyone who comes too close. We humans are instinctively drawn to the unknown, yet terrified by it. Our ancestors feared the forests at night, the ocean's depths, the storms that could flatten entire settlements. But the cosmos is a different kind of darkness. It's not just the absence of light, it's the presence of something far more unsettling. Emptiness so complete, so indifferent, that your existence becomes less than a flicker. And in that vast black sea, there are places so extreme they feel like they were designed to unmake everything we know. This is not about aliens lurking in the shadows or ancient curses whispered through time. This is about locations in the universe that break the rules of reality itself. Today, we will step across the threshold of one such place. But before we arrive there, we need to prepare, to understand just enough about the universe to grasp the terror that waits at its darkest edges. Close your eyes and picture the Milky Way galaxy from far above. It's a swirling disk of hundreds of billions of stars spread across 100,000 light years. Our sun is just one among them, orbiting slowly around the galaxy's center like a grain of dust caught in a lazy whirlpool. Most of the space between stars is just empty. Not empty in the everyday sense, because on Earth, empty might mean an unused room or a quiet street. Here, empty means there's nothing for light years. If you were dropped into that space without a ship, you wouldn't just die, you'd disappear, swallowed by silence and the cold. But between that emptiness, gravity stitches together islands of matter, stars, planets, asteroids, and stranger things. Some of these stranger things are the reason astronomers lie awake at night, staring at data and wondering if they've just glimpsed the edge of something they can't fully comprehend. One of those things is where we're heading. To find this place, we start by traveling, not just across space, but across scales of reality. First, we pass the orbit of Neptune, leaving behind the comforting warmth of our sun. Out here, the sun is just another bright point in the sky. Days and nights become meaningless. We pass the Oort cloud, the icy shell of our solar system, and plunge into interstellar space. Years pass, decades. The distances are so enormous that human language breaks down trying to describe them. Eventually, we reach another star system. It might be younger than ours, still glowing with the heat of creation. Or it might be ancient, its planets long frozen, its star dimming to a faint red ember. And if we are unlucky, or lucky, depending on how you see it, there's something nearby. A distortion. Not a planet, not a star, something that pulls at space itself. Astronomers on Earth can sometimes spot these places without ever seeing them directly. They notice a star's light bending strangely, or a planet's orbit shifting for no apparent reason. It's like watching a leaf swirl in a pond and realizing there's a massive, invisible creature just beneath the surface. What causes these strange movements is gravity, but not the gentle, familiar pull that keeps your feet on the ground. This is gravity pushed to its absolute extreme. Gravity so strong that once you cross a certain invisible boundary, nothing, not even light, can escape. You've probably guessed its name by now: A black hole. But not just any black hole. The one we're heading toward has earned a reputation even among scientists. It's among the largest and most dangerous known. It is so massive that it could swallow entire solar systems whole, and you would never even see it coming until it was far too late. We arrive at the edge of this cosmic abyss. There's no physical wall or door, just a region of space where the fabric of reality begins to curve inward. The light from distant stars bends and twists like reflections in a warped mirror. The background hum of the universe, the cosmic microwave background, stretches into strange, ghostly tones. Cross the boundary, and we vanish, not just physically, but informationally, erased from the visible universe. Out here, there are no second chances, no rescue missions. The laws of physics themselves conspire to keep whatever happens inside a secret forever. And this is only the beginning. We haven't even stepped through yet. But the moment we do, everything, time, space, even the idea of reality, will begin to fall apart. Welcome to the scariest place in the universe. Last time, we stood at the edge of a cosmic abyss, a black hole so massive it can swallow whole star systems without a trace. We looked into its warped horizon, where light bends like liquid and space itself curves inward. We didn't cross, yet. But now, there's no turning back. The event horizon is not a surface. There is no wall, no glowing boundary. From far away, the black hole looks like a perfect circle of blackness, an absence in the starry sky, surrounded by a halo of distorted light. This halo is made from photons that tried to escape, but were bent into orbits around the black hole, trapped in a forever loop before falling in. As we drift toward the horizon, something strange happens. The outside universe speeds up. Clocks out there tick faster and faster. From the perspective of someone watching us fall, we appear to slow down, our movements dragging into eternity. They will never see us actually cross. We will freeze, forever balanced on the edge. But from our point of view, everything is different. We cross without noticing the exact moment. One instant, the universe is still visible behind us. The next, it's gone, replaced by darkness so complete it feels solid. Inside the event horizon, time is no longer something we move through. It's something that moves toward us. Imagine a river flowing to a waterfall. Outside the horizon, you can paddle against the current and stay in place. But once you cross, the current becomes too strong. No matter how hard you try, you're pulled toward the singularity at the center. Here, space and time switch roles. Moving forward in time means moving closer to the center. You cannot avoid it any more than you can avoid tomorrow. Every path leads inward. And the strangest part? From the outside, we seem frozen. But from here, the outside universe continues without us. Stars are born, live, and die. Galaxies collide. Entire civilizations might rise and fall in what to us feels like seconds. The closer we fall to the singularity, the more extreme the gravity becomes. This isn't the gentle downward tug of Earth. This is a tidal force so intense it pulls more strongly on your feet than your head. If the black hole is small, this difference is lethal long before you reach the singularity. Your body would stretch vertically, atoms pulled apart in a process scientists grimly call spaghettification. Your height would increase while your width compresses. First, your body's structure breaks, then molecules tear, then atoms. Eventually, even the protons inside you would be shredded into subatomic debris. But in a supermassive black hole, the kind we've entered now, the tidal forces at the horizon are surprisingly gentle. You might cross it without feeling a thing. Only much later, deep inside, will the stretching begin. Inside this realm, light has no meaning. Photons can still move, but all their paths curve inward. No matter how you aim your flashlight, the beam will spiral toward the center. It's like being trapped in a cave where every tunnel slopes down, deeper into darkness. If you try to look back toward the horizon, you'll see nothing. The outside is gone. Space no longer stretches that way. It only leads inward. And yet, for a brief time, there's an eerie glow around us, the afterimages of the last light we saw before crossing. It fades quickly, leaving us blind in every direction except toward our inevitable destination. At the center of every black hole lies something even more terrifying: the singularity. This is a point, infinitely small, infinitely dense, where the known laws of physics break. Our best equations stop working here. Space and time become so warped that they lose all meaning. We're not there yet, but we're falling fast. The fabric of reality around us begins to ripple. Maybe it's just an effect of gravity on our perception, or maybe we're seeing something deeper. Some physicists speculate that the singularity might not be a point at all. It could be a doorway to another region of space-time, another universe, or something stranger still. But if it is a doorway, it's not one we can choose to enter. We're being carried toward it, and whatever waits on the other side is beyond imagination. We've crossed the point of no return. There is only one way forward now. We are falling, but there is no wind, no sense of motion. The darkness around us is absolute, yet the feeling of movement is undeniable. It's not like walking towards something, it's more like something is being pulled toward us, an inevitable meeting point. The center of the black hole is coming for us, whether we want it to or not. The space we are in no longer behaves like the universe we knew. There are no familiar reference points, no fixed directions. Forward, backward, up, down, these concepts have melted away. Here, forward simply means closer to the singularity, and every step in time is a step in that direction. Your mind tries to adjust, to build some mental map, but fails. There is nothing to cling to. If you release an object from your hand, it doesn't drift away, it falls beside you, forever keeping pace, as if gravity here has decided that separation is meaningless. You and the object share the same fate, the same trajectory. Occasionally, flickers of strange light ripple through the void. They are not from stars, no stars can be seen here. Perhaps they are the dying signals of photons that have been twisted and warped beyond recognition, remnants of light that once had a purpose but now exist only as distorted echoes. Or perhaps they are something else entirely, space-time itself flexing under forces too great to comprehend. The deeper we fall, the more the universe outside accelerates beyond us. In our perception, thousands, then millions, then billions of years pass in what feels like moments. Whole galaxies whirl through their lifespans. Stars explode in supernovae and collapse into neutron stars or more black holes. Even the great cosmic web, the filaments of matter connecting the universe, shifts and changes. Eventually, perhaps the universe itself will grow old and cold while we are still falling. It is here, in this place of inevitability, that the mind begins to fracture, not from pain, not from panic, but from the crushing realization that you are inside something that will never release you. Every instinct screams for escape, but there is no escape to be found. Even the idea of outside has lost meaning. There is only this. And yet, as alien as it feels, The rules here are precise. The mathematics of a black hole are unforgiving. Every particle, every quantum of energy is accounted for. Hawking's equations tell us that black holes are not eternal. They evaporate, slowly releasing their energy over incomprehensible timescales. But for something this massive, that process takes longer than the current age of the universe by a factor so large that the number becomes meaningless. We are in a prison whose walls decay so slowly that to us, they may as well be indestructible. But there is another possibility, one that has fascinated physicists for decades. Perhaps this singularity is not the end at all. Perhaps it is a bridge. The idea comes from the equations of general relativity themselves. In some solutions, a black hole is connected to another region of space-time via a tunnel, what we call a wormhole. On the other side could be another part of our own universe or an entirely different universe. In theory, it might even be possible to enter one black hole and emerge from what's called a white hole, an object that is the reverse of a black hole. It spits out matter instead of swallowing it. But that possibility comes with problems. Wormholes, if they exist, are unstable. The tiniest disturbance could collapse them instantly, crushing anything inside. Quantum effects would likely destroy them before a traveler could pass through. And there is another, more disturbing thought. If this black hole is connected to another place, we have no control over where or when it might be. We could emerge billions of years in the past or future, in a galaxy so alien we would not even recognize it as such. Still, the mind clings to the thought of escape, however improbable. Perhaps in the chaos at the singularity, there is some loophole, some fragment of physics yet to be discovered that could turn a death sentence into a journey. But the singularity itself is not patient. With every moment, the tidal forces grow. We begin to feel the first hints of stretching. At first, it is subtle, an awareness that our sense of scale is shifting. Your body feels slightly longer than it should be, your limbs heavier in one direction than the other. The pull is faint but constant, and deep down you know it will only grow. Every meter closer multiplies the effect. Eventually, it will be irresistible. Matter here is under siege. Molecules begin to strain against their bonds. The atoms that make up our bodies are still intact, but the forces holding them together will soon face a challenge they were never meant to endure. Atoms were built in the cores of ancient stars under pressures unimaginable on Earth, but even those colossal forces pale compared to what lies ahead. The singularity is no glowing sphere or swirling vortex. If we could see it, which we cannot, it would have no surface, no color, no shape. It is not a thing in space. It is space itself collapsing into a point. The density is infinite, at least in the language of our equations, though infinite may simply mean beyond our ability to describe. Here, space and time cease to be separate entities. They are crushed into something unrecognizable. As we approach, reality itself feels fragile. The distinction between past and future begins to blur. Events no longer have a clear order. Causality, the bedrock of our understanding, trembles. It's as if we are nearing a place where the universe itself was not yet being finished being written. It is tempting to think of this as death, but it is not death in any form we understand. Death implies an end within the structure of time. This is something else, a place outside that structure. If there is an after to this, it is not something our minds are equipped to imagine. And yet, in this final approach, there is an eerie beauty. The faint lights we saw earlier now form faint ribbons, curving in impossible patterns. They are not traveling through space as we know it. They are following the warped geometry of space-time itself, and we are part of that geometry now. The effect is hypnotic, almost comforting, as if the universe is showing us one last display before the curtain falls. But the comfort is a lie. The stretching grows more intense. Now, if you could see yourself from the outside, your shape would be subtly distorted, elongated like a shadow at sunset. The singularity is close enough that every moment we spend here multiplies the tidal forces exponentially. There will come a point where thought itself will not be possible, where the very atoms making up your brain will be pulled apart faster than the signals they carry can move. We are not there yet, but we are close. Every instinct, every trace of survival instinct left in us screams that something is ahead, something absolute. It is not a predator in the usual sense. It does not want us, does not even acknowledge us. It is the ultimate indifference, the universe's way of reminding us how small we are. Soon the singularity will be all there is. Soon all direction will collapse into one, downward, inward, forward, all the same. And when that moment comes, we will discover whether this is truly the end or the beginning of something far stranger.
We are almost there. The feeling of inevitability has transformed into a sensation of being consumed by a directionless force. There is no wind, no acceleration, no motion we can measure, yet everything within us knows that the center is close, closer than anything has ever been. The stretching is no longer subtle. Our sense of our own body is warped, as if our limbs exist in a different scale from the rest of us. The pull on our feet is stronger than the pull on our head, and even without measuring, we can feel the numbers growing with each passing instant. Our minds cling desperately to familiar concepts. We think of the black hole as a massive object pulling us in, but that image is wrong. We are not moving through space toward it. Space itself is flowing toward the singularity, carrying us with it. We are leaves caught in the current of a river that has no banks, no surface, no source. Reality begins to ripple. Shapes in the darkness twist and tremble in ways that should be impossible. If we had any light to see by, we might notice that straight lines no longer exist. Everything curves toward the center. Even time feels like it is bending, pulling events together, collapsing what should be separate moments into a single, tangled knot. It's here that the mind begins to fail in a different way, not from fear, but from overload. Every frame of perception feels stretched thin, like the last threads of a tapestry being pulled apart. Memories bleed into each other. You recall things that haven't happened yet. You imagine events that feel as real as the ones you've lived. Somewhere in this chaos is the truth, but finding it is like searching for a star in a sky that has been erased. The singularity is not visible, but its presence is undeniable. It's not a place, not an object, but a state of space-time itself. Here, density and gravity reach limits that are not merely large, they are infinite in the language of our mathematics. Matter has been crushed beyond atoms, beyond subatomic particles, beyond any known form. It has been reduced to pure curvature of space and time, a knot so tight that no force in the universe can loosen it. There is an odd serenity in this final approach. The forces acting on us are so immense that resistance is meaningless. Struggle is not an option, only observation. And so we watch, if watch is even the right word for whatever our perception has become. The last traces of physical sensation fade. The difference between the pull on our head and our feet becomes irrelevant, because those distinctions no longer exist in any physical sense. The concept of us as a three-dimensional shape dissolves. We are not stretched anymore. We are integrated,
folded into the very structure of the collapse. And then, something unexpected. The collapse stops feeling like collapse. Instead, it feels like opening, like a flower blooming in reverse, except the petals are made of reality itself, curling away to reveal something beneath. What lies beneath is not blackness, but absence. Pure, impossible absence. The kind of nothingness that should not be able to exist, and yet here it is. Our senses, useless as they are, insist that we have reached a threshold. It is not the end. It is the other side of something we cannot name. We step through without moving. It stands, if stands is even the right word, before us in absolute stillness. No movement, no light, no shape we can define. Only the sense of a boundary where none should exist, a disruption in this strange dimension. Trying to focus on it is like trying to remember a dream while it is still fading from your mind. Each time you think you have its outline, it slips, changes, reshapes itself into something new. It can be vast, stretching across this entire space, or it can be close enough to touch, as if it is compressing itself at will. We don't know if it is alive, but it is aware. That much is certain. It feels as though the weight of its attention has settled on us, not in the way a predator watches prey, but in the way a scientist watches a rare specimen. We are something it is examining, testing. In this place beyond the singularity, there is no voice, no vibration, yet communication is possible, not in words, but in impressions, thoughts that are not ours suddenly appearing in our minds. Images form, but they are not random. We see galaxies collapsing, black holes consuming their surroundings, light itself bending and twisting in silent spirals. We see this presence at the center of it all, not as the cause, but as the witness. The knowledge is overwhelming. This being is ancient, not in the sense of years, because time as we know it may not exist here, but ancient in relation to the universe's own birth. It was here before our reality took shape. Perhaps it has watched countless realities form and dissolve. Perhaps it exists only in the regions beyond singularities, inhabiting the spaces between universes. The spheres we saw earlier begin to flicker around us again, as if reacting to its presence. Some grow brighter, showing scenes of worlds and lives long gone. Others dim completely, hiding whatever they contain. It occurs to us that these spheres might fear it, or perhaps revere it. Then, without warning, we are pulled forward. Not physically, there is no sense of motion, but suddenly we are closer. Details emerge, not visual, but structural. The being is not made of matter or energy in any way we understand. Its surface is like the folds of space-time itself, bent and woven into patterns that seem deliberate. The folds shift, forming shapes that lingered just long enough to suggest meaning before they dissolve. The impressions continue to flood our minds. We see another black hole, far away, perhaps in another universe, spitting out a torrent of matter. It is a white hole, an impossible reversal of everything we know. This being is near it, watching, waiting, as though it understands the balance between creation and destruction in ways we never will. We begin to suspect that it has brought us here on purpose. The singularity we crossed was not random. It was an invitation or a test. But for what? Our thoughts are interrupted by a shift in the space around us. The pale spheres begin to drift, moving in unison, aligning themselves in a vast spiral. At the center of this spiral is the being. It is orchestrating something. The spheres pulse with light, their strange memories flaring to life. We see countless histories projected in silence, civilizations building, falling, vanishing, stars igniting, burning, collapsing, the births and deaths of entire realities. The spiral tightens, the spheres converge on the being, and one by one they vanish into it. Not consumed, not destroyed, absorbed, as though becoming part of whatever it is. And as the last sphere disappears, the being shifts once again. It opens. The opening is not physical, it is dimensional. A tear in this place, revealing another beyond it. Through the tear, we glimpse something vast and blinding, a landscape of color and form unlike anything in our universe. Structures float in the void, built from light itself, endlessly reshaping. Rivers of glowing matter flow between them, bending under unseen forces. The being waits. The impression is clear. This is an offer. We cross. The transition is unlike stepping through a doorway. It is more like being rewritten. Every part of what we are is taken apart, examined, and put back together in a new arrangement. There is no pain, no fear, only the profound awareness that nothing will ever be the same again. The new space is alive with light, but this light does not behave like the light we know. It does not radiate from sources. It simply exists, woven into the airless expanse. We are surrounded by monumental forms, some geometric, others organic, all of them shifting slowly as if breathing. They are not solid, yet they have weight in the mind, leaving impressions as strong as touch. The air, or whatever serves as air here, seems filled with faint harmonics, a music too complex to have been made by chance. It resonates not in the ears, but directly in thought, as though the place itself is speaking. Each note is a statement, each chord is a story. We drift, though drifting implies distance, and distance here is strange. The structures we approach seem to grow larger, but without perspective changing. They are made of lattices of light, so finely woven they seem fragile, yet they hum with power. As we move deeper, we see beings, not like the shadow we met before, and not like anything that could exist in our universe. They are shapes of light and form, constantly changing, their edges dissolving and reforming. They move through the lattice as if it were water, their bodies leaving ripples of color behind them. One of them approaches. It does not speak, it does not need to. The instant it is near, we understand that this is a place of creation. The beings here are builders, architects of realities. The lattices are not structures, they are blueprints, patterns from which entire universes are spun. We are shown a pattern in progress. Threads of light weave together, each one a law of physics, a constant of nature, a fundamental truth. As the pattern grows, a new reality begins to take form within it, its own space, its own time, its own possibilities. The being's work is delicate. The wrong combination could make a universe that collapses instantly, or one that is barren and lifeless forever. It is here that we begin to grasp the scale of what we've found. Black holes are not simply cosmic destroyers. They are passages to these workshops, these hidden forges where realities are made. The destruction on one side fuels creation on the other. The matter and energy devoured by a black hole are not lost. They are raw materials, reshaped into new beginnings. The realization is overwhelming. The universe we came from might have been born in a place like this. The laws of our reality, the constants that allowed stars to form and life to exist, could have been chosen by beings like these. The being who approached us gestures, not with hands, but with a shift in light. We follow it to a vast chamber, open to the endless expanse beyond. Here we see thousands of patterns suspended in space, each one glowing with its own unique hue. Some are nearly complete, shimmering with stability. Others are chaotic, flickering, collapsing into themselves. And then we see one that is dark, unlit, frozen. We know instinctively that it is ours, the universe we came from. The pattern is incomplete. The light within it is fading. The being pauses, as if waiting to see what we will do. Perhaps it is offering us the chance to repair it, to change it, to alter the course of everything we have ever known. But we also understand the risk. Change too much, and our reality will not survive. Somewhere in the darkness, we sense the shadow being again, watching, not interfering, just observing, as if the choice is ours alone.
We stand before the dark pattern, frozen in its incomplete state. Its threads are brittle, frayed in places where laws of physics once held but now waver. Gaps stretch between them, not of space but of possibility. Holes where events failed to happen, where potential simply stopped. The dim glow that still lingers inside is faint and uneven. Sometimes it flickers brighter, hinting at life still thriving in scattered corners. Other times it dims almost to nothing, like a heartbeat struggling to keep going. This is our universe, but not as we've ever seen it. We are looking at its essence laid bare, stripped of stars and planets, stripped of light, stripped of every distraction. The being of light beside us does not urge or warn, it only waits. We can feel its awareness pressing gently against our thoughts, the way a hand rests slightly on a shoulder, not forcing, but reminding us that the decision is ours. Touching the pattern feels like placing your hand on the surface of a lake and realizing you can stir the entire ocean. The moment our fingers, or whatever passes for fingers here, brush the dark weave, sensations erupt. Worlds spin into view, their histories unwinding and then reversing. The birth of stars playing backward into clouds of gas. The laws of nature themselves flickering through alternate forms like pages in a book being flipped too fast to read. We see Earth, our Earth, alive and green, clouds curling over oceans, the hum of human voices in cities glittering at night. Then the image shudders, and we see Earth long after humanity is gone, bare continents, sun-bleached and silent, the oceans receded, the sky a pale and thin blue. There is a temptation to change things, to shift one thread, strengthen another, perhaps bend a constant here or a law there to alter the trajectory of events. But every adjustment sends shockwaves through the pattern. A small nudge to the expansion rate of the universe could make galaxies form sooner or never form at all. A slight change in the strength of gravity could cause stars to burn too quickly or never ignite. We pull back, shaken. The being of light remains still. It knows what we've just felt, that in this place, power is infinite, but so is the danger of using it without understanding. And then the shadow being appears again. It does not approach directly, it simply exists at the edge of the chamber, bending the lattice of light with its presence. We feel its attention like a tide pulling us toward it. This time it sends no images, no impressions, only a single truth, one that arrives in our minds fully formed.
If you act, the cost will be yours alone. The meaning is clear. We can intervene in our universe's fate, but whatever we do will change us. We will not return as we were. We may not return at all. The being of light seems to acknowledge the shadow being's presence with a slow shift in its glow. The two do not speak. Perhaps they have never spoken, but there is an understanding between them, like two guardians watching opposite gates. We take a step closer to the pattern. The threads vibrate faintly under our presence, as if aware that their fate hangs in this moment. Somewhere in the back of our mind, the echo of our own life, our own memories, reminds us of all that is at stake. The laughter of people we knew, the streets of our city at dusk, the feeling of standing under the night sky, looking up at stars that might now be gone. We could let it be, walk away, accept that universes live and die just as stars do, and that ours has reached its natural end. But standing here, faced with the chance to act, doing nothing feels like an act of abandonment. We place both hands on the dark weave. The moment we commit, the place changes. The chamber around us grows brighter, the lattice lines glowing with heatless fire. The pattern of our universe swells in size until it surrounds us, an endless wall of interwoven threads stretching in every direction. The threads are not inert. They pulse with movement, vibrating with the histories they contain. Each one carries the weight of countless events, decisions made by stars and planets, by creatures and civilizations. Some threads are taut and strong, others thin and fraying. We begin to see how the structure holds itself together, not through force, but through balance. Every thread is connected to many others, and a single change ripples outward in all directions. We start small, a minor reinforcement in one sector, where a cluster of galaxies has begun to drift apart too quickly. The threads there tighten, the stars within them burning just a little longer, giving their worlds more time. The vibration that follows is subtle, almost encouraging. But the next change is harder. A great void has formed in another region, vast enough to starve entire galactic filaments of matter. We consider pulling matter from elsewhere to fill it, but doing so weakens the structures we take from. We try anyway. The moment we shift the mass, we feel the consequence. A wave of instability sweeps through a neighboring cluster, stars wobbling in their courses, some slingshotting into intergalactic space. The being of light watches silently. It does not stop us. It lets us make our mistakes. We realize then that the act of weaving is not about control. It is about harmony. Each alteration must fit into the whole, supporting it without unbalancing its neighbors. It is not enough to save one system. We must save the relationships between systems. The work becomes almost meditative. We adjust, we test, we correct. Time has no meaning here, but the process feels endless. Slowly, the pattern grows brighter, threads regaining color and strength. We do not know how much of our universe we have changed, nor what it will look like when we return, if we return. Then we touch a thread that feels different. It hums in a way that resonates deep within us, a frequency that feels like recognition. Pulling it closer, we see why. This thread is Earth's. It contains every moment of its history, from the first swirling clouds of dust that formed our sun, to the earliest single-celled life in its oceans, to the rise and fall of countless human generations. We can see the future too. The line extends beyond the present moment, fraying as it reaches into centuries not yet lived. We could mend it, extend its life, but to do so would require drawing on the strength of other threads, taking from somewhere else. Every gain here would be a loss there. The shadow being is here again, silent but unavoidable, its form a distortion against the brightness. We know it will not intervene. It is here only to witness what we choose. We take a breath, though breath has no meaning here, and begin to weave Earth's future. The changes are delicate, stabilizing climate patterns, prolonging the sun's stable burning phase, tilting probabilities just enough that certain catastrophic events never occur. We cannot guarantee perfection. Chaos is part of any living system, but we can give it a longer chance. When we finish, the thread hums with renewed strength. The pattern of our universe shivers faintly, and for the first time since we saw it, it feels alive. The being of light steps forward, its glow bathing us completely. There is no speech, no thanks, but we feel the weight of our work acknowledged. The shadow being lingers a moment longer, then dissolves into nothing. We do not know yet what price we have paid.
The chamber dims, not suddenly, not like a light being switched off, but gradually, as though the place itself is exhaling after a long, deliberate breath. The lattice around us softens its glow, the patterns of countless universes fading into a softer, almost sleeping rhythm. Our universe's pattern remains visible, still bright from our work, but there is a change, a faint vibration beneath it, low and steady like a pulse beginning to beat after being still for too long. We step back, expecting relief, but what comes instead is a strange weight inside our thoughts. It is not pain, it is memory, but memory from two places at once. In one, we are ourselves, here in the latticed chamber, hands still warm from touching the threads. In the other, we are somewhere else entirely, standing on the shore of an ocean, waves moving under a sky we know but haven't seen in ages. The two streams of experience twist together, not blending, but coexisting, and we realize we are beginning to feel the echo of the changes we made. Somehow, in some way, part of us is already connected to the altered future of our own universe. We see flashes of people who haven't yet been born, of cities built in places that should have never supported them, of forests thriving in lands that would have been deserts. The being of light watches us with what feels like patience. The shadow being is gone, or perhaps simply hidden. But in its absence, the space feels heavier, as though the act of weaving has shifted some balance in this place. The hum inside the dark pattern grows. It begins to spread into the other threads, not as a disruption, but as an influence, like a melody finding harmonies in surrounding notes. Universes adjacent to ours, if such a thing can be said to exist, begin to adjust to accommodate the changes we made. The realization hits hard. When we altered our own reality, we did not act in isolation. The web is interconnected. We may have begun a chain reaction we cannot predict. We want to ask the being of light if this is good or bad, but there is no language between us. Instead, we are shown an image, a ripple in a pond, the rings spreading endlessly. The image carries no judgment. It is neither warning nor reassurance. It is simply the truth. Actions here travel far. Then the first real shift comes. The lattice beneath our feet, or what serves as our feet here, shudders, not violently, but with a deep, resonant tremor that runs through every structure. The being of light turns its gaze, if such a term can be used, toward a point in the chamber where space itself begins to distort. The distortion grows, forming a tear much like the one that brought us here, but this one is unstable. It flickers, folding inward and then outward, edges snapping like cloth in a storm. Through it, we see flashes of our universe, not as we left it, but as it is now.
The view jumps wildly, a world seen from orbit, the surface covered in sprawling, glittering networks of life, a gas giant with a moon whose surface glows faintly, a star-forming region exploding in colors beyond anything the human eye could see. It is a doorway home, or at least a doorway to what home has become, but we sense something else in it too, a pull, faint but growing stronger, as if the universe itself has noticed our absence and is calling us back. We step toward it. The unstable tear hums with a rhythm that resonates deep inside us. The air around it, if air exists here, feels charged, every particle vibrating in anticipation. The being of light does not move to block us. It simply shifts aside, its glow dimming enough for us to see the tear more clearly. Crossing back will not be like coming here. We understand that instinctively. The path into this place was one way in structure and purpose. The path out will have to fight the very laws that keep this realm separate from ours. We may not return whole. Parts of what we have become here may not survive the journey. Still, the pull is stronger now. Images from our altered universe flicker inside the tear. Streets lit by warm light, people laughing on balconies. The surface of Mars covered in green forests, swaying in a wind. The great oceans shimmering under skies both familiar and strange. But then darker flashes appear. Storms covering entire continents. Strange lights in the upper atmosphere. A star at the edge of the galaxy flaring with unnatural intensity. The price of our weaving is showing itself. Some threads have strengthened in unexpected ways. Others have twisted. We do not know if these are dangers or simply the natural adaptation of a living cosmos to sudden change. The shadow being is here again. It materializes at the edge of the tear, its form even more fluid than before, its presence warping the space between us. It does not try to stop us. Instead, it gives the same impression it gave before. The cost will be yours. The meaning is clearer now. To return, we will have to carry the connection between this realm and our universe with us. We will become a bridge, a point where two realities touch. We will never fully belong to either side again. We hesitate, looking once more at the being of light. Its glow pulses, faintly mirroring the heartbeat of our own universe's pattern. It does not tell us to stay. It does not tell us to go. Perhaps to it, our decision is just another thread in the weave. We step closer to the tear. The vibration grows, filling every part of us until it feels like we might dissolve into it. The shadow being shifts aside, the space where it stood collapsing inward for a moment before springing back. Then we cross. The passage is violent. The calm we felt entering this place is gone, replaced by raw, tearing motion. Reality folds and twists around us, colors so intense they feel like impacts smashing into our senses. Time jerks forward, backward, sideways. We are stretched again, not by gravity, but by the conflicting geometries of two universes grinding against each other. When it ends, we are standing on solid ground. The ground is red sand. Above us, the sky is a pale gold, and a small, warm sun hangs low over a horizon of low, jagged mountains. At first, we think we have emerged in the wrong place. This is not Earth. But then, in the distance, we see structures. Towers of glass and steel, their shapes softened by wind-blown dust. We walk toward them, feeling the strangeness of movement after so long in a place where direction was meaningless. The city is alive. Figures move between the towers, their silhouettes human. When they notice us, They do not seem surprised. Some even nod in passing, as if our presence here is expected. We find a reflective surface, a pane of glass, and see ourselves. We are different, not in ways that can be fully named. Our outline wavers, edges shifting subtly as though light bends differently around us. Our eyes hold a depth that was not there before. We feel heavier, not in body, but in essence. The city is thriving. Plants grow in terraces along the towers. Water flows in channels at the street's edges. People speak in languages we understand and others we do not. Yet here and there we notice signs of tension. A glance held too long, a skyship that hovers above as if watching. The world has changed, but not all change is simple. We realize something then. The scariest place in the universe is not the inside of a black hole. It is not the realm beyond the singularity, nor the lattice chamber where realities are woven. The scariest place is here, standing in a world we changed, knowing we are part of it and apart from it at the same time, knowing every action we take might ripple through the weave in ways we cannot control. We walk through the streets until we reach the city's edge. Beyond it, the land falls away into a canyon carved by a river of molten gold. In the distance, beyond the far horizon, something moves in the sky, vast and slow, a shadow whose outline shifts in ways that feel hauntingly familiar. We know without knowing that the shadow being has followed. It is here now, somewhere in this altered reality, watching. Perhaps it always was. We look up at the pale gold sky, and for a moment we think we see the faintest glimmer of the lattice above it all, as if the patterns of the universes themselves are visible to us alone. The hum of the weave is inside us now, and it will never leave. We have returned. We have changed everything, and we have brought something back. Somewhere, deep in the silence between stars, another black hole waits, its event horizon turning slowly in the dark, patient as eternity. We know now what lies beyond it, and we know that if we ever cross again, the universe on the other side will be watching. The scariest place in the universe is not far away. It is wherever we stand now, carrying the infinite inside us. If this journey into the deepest, most terrifying corners of the cosmos blew your mind, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because what's coming next will take you even further. Leave a comment with what you think lies beyond, and share this with someone who dares to look into the abyss.